How's it, and welcome back. So I play drums in a thrash metal band called Halvar, and we recently recorded our third studio album. I recorded the drums here in my home studio in Cape Town in South Africa. It's a pretty small room. It's got a little bit of treatment on the walls and this big ass mattress against the wall that also absorbs some of the sound. So it's not the biggest sounding room, it's quite contained and tight sounding, but I actually like it and the drums sound pretty good in here. So let's talk about some of the gear I used to record the album. The drum kit I used is my brand new Mapex Armory 5-piece drum kit. It is a Mapex and Birch blend. It sounds amazing. The snare drum I used is this insanely beastly daisy cutter snare from Mapex, hammered steel snare. This thing is a beast. It's so loud. It's amazing for this type of music. And yeah, we did every song with this. It sounds amazing. And yeah, you can hear that in a little bit. It's pretty sick. For cymbals, we pretty much used all Zildjian cymbals. For hi-hats, we used the 14-inch Zildjian A custom hats. Super bright, but perfect for this type of music. For the crashes, on my left, I had a 16-inch K custom medium thin dark crash. I love this crash, it sounds awesome. And on my right-hand side, I have a 17-inch A custom crash. For the ride, we used the Zildjian ZHT 20-inch medium ride, I believe. I've had this thing for so long, but it sounds great, does its thing. For the China cymbal, I used a 14-inch K custom mini China. It's pretty small for a China, but it honestly sounds pretty good. I actually really like the very short attack and decay that it has, especially for like really fast grooves. I really like it. And then I have this little splash stack in the middle of the kit, which consists of a 10-inch very cracked Istanbul splash on top of a ZHT China splash from Zildjian. Sounds pretty sick. For drum heads, I actually used all of the stock heads on the toms and the kick as they came with the kit. I believe they're Chinese-made Remo ambassadors. They sound really good, and I honestly didn't want to change them because they sounded this good. For the snare drum, I used the Evans HD Dry. This is probably my favorite snare head right now. It's just awesome, and it's got holes in it, which is really weird, but also kind of cool. And for the kick, once again, just the stock head. Honestly, not sure what it is. It's Remo something, you know, but it sounds great. And I believe I used Aquarian kick pads on the kick. For kick pedals, I used the Mapex Armory P800s. I've had these for a really long time as well. They're pretty old, but they still work well, and I will use them until they fall apart completely, which is probably gonna happen in the middle of a set. We'll see, I guess. I'm using the felt side of the beaters, and a lot of people might think, that's not cool for metal. You wanna use the plastic side for that slappity. But for me, I really like the sort of round kick sound that you get from the felt side of the beater. It gives you a rounder starting point, which I really like. For drumsticks, I use the Vic Firth 5B wooden tips. These are my favorite sticks in the world. I have tried every brand out there and they all work, but these sticks just feel great. They last me pretty long compared to the other brands, and they are very nicely balanced in terms of their weight distribution. And they sound good. They make my toms sound really full, and the wooden tips from some of the other brands tend to chip quite quickly, while these last for quite a while. So these are my favorite sticks for sure. And then we just used some moon gels to dampen some of the drums. I think I had 1 or 2 on the snare, and then 1 on each tom, with the exception of the floor tom having 2 moon gels. Another thing that's new for this album, and for these recordings in general for me, is putting cotton balls in the bottom of the floor tom to control the resonant head resonance. And it's pretty cool. It just adds another layer of control to the resonance of the drum. So in terms of microphones, I used the Shure SM57 for snare top and the SM58 for snare bottom. For the toms, I used the SE Electronics V-Beats for toms 1 and 2. And an AKG D40 for the floor tom. For kick, we used one mic, the Audix D6. This is just like the best kick mic you can get for this type of music. I love it. For the overheads, we use the SE Electronics SE1As. They're small diaphragm condensers and they sound really good. I'm pretty sure they're modeled after the Shure KSM 137s, I think. They've got a pretty warm sound to them while still capturing a really nice and smooth, silky top end. So they're perfect for cymbals, and they are my overheads of choice. For hi-hats and ride, we use the Behringer C2s, small diaphragm condensers. They are super cheap, but they sound great. And with just a little bit extra EQ and processing, they can sound way above their price point. For preamps, I actually used my Behringer XR18 digital console, which is also a 16-channel audio interface. And all of that was running into my DAW of choice, which is Reaper. And that's pretty much everything. So when the drums are done recorded, we normally move on to guitars and bass. Daniel, our lead guitarist, he usually records all of the guitars, including our rhythm guitarist Vian's parts. And then Daniel does all the vocals himself as well. Our bassist Josh usually records his parts with Daniel, but something new we tried for this album was we recorded the bass here at my place, which was really cool. And after everything's recorded, Daniel is the one who mixes everything, and then he sends it off to me to master everything. So let's actually have a listen to how these recordings sound. I'm just going to play a bit on the kits, and then you can hear how all of the recorded tracks sound completely raw, and then with a little bit of light processing on, and then with a bit more processing on. So there you have it. That's how I recorded thrash metal drums for the new Halvor album. We will be releasing some updates on that soon, and then you can hear it all in full force together. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Drop a like and subscribe to my channel. I would really appreciate that too. And then I will see you in the next video.